Hi, I'm Jonathan Edwards, Communications Manager with Nash County, and in this special episode, we're going to celebrate the opening of the brand new Nash County Courthouse Expansion. You're watching Nash County Now. The Nash County Courthouse Expansion began to change the look of downtown Nashville as we demoed several storefronts on Washington Street in preparation of a November 2016 groundbreaking.
On behalf of the Nash County Commissioners, I would like to welcome each of you to the groundbreaking ceremony for the new courthouse expansion project. This is the 4th edition to our historic courthouse. It's a $14 million project. The project includes over 38,000 square feet of new construction and over 12,000 square feet of renovated space. The renovation includes expanded space for the clerk of court's office, the district attorney's office, and the sheriff's office. We thank all of you for coming today. We are very proud of this project, and we look forward to seeing you all back again in about 18 months for the dedication ceremony.
3, 2, 1.
So today we had a groundbreaking for our new courthouse expansion project that we've been working on diligently for quite some time. The judicial system and the clerk's office have been pushing this project for about 10 years now, and we just have finished design. We've bid the project. Daniels was our contractor. Mosley Architects was our architect. We're finally at the point where we're ready to start digging and getting this project going.
Well, it's very exciting. Going to have an addition, an expansion of the historic Nash County Courthouse, about 38,000 additional square feet. That'll bring the total square footage for the court facility to a little over 100,000 square feet. It'll be a 3-story project, 2 stories above grade, additional 2 courtrooms on the first level, 2 courtrooms on the second level, 2 for district and 2 for superior court. And then on the lower level, there'll be a connection to the existing jail facility. It'll provide an additional level of security for transfer of detainees.
I think the prisoner transport was a good reason why we're doing this project. In the past, prisoners would be transported from the detention center behind me. They actually have to go through the sheriff's office, to get to the courtroom. Then they come on the backside of Superior Courtroom where judges, attorneys, everybody else is walking. Then they would walk to go to district court. They'd walk back out into a public corridor through whatever witnesses or the public or whatever they walk through to get to the courtrooms. With this underground tunnel, we'll have straight access from the detention center to the underground tunnel to an elevator that will come up in between the 2 district courtrooms and the 2 superior courtrooms. There'll be holding cells in both those floors. That prisoner, the first time he sees the public, is walking through that door with a bailiff into the courtroom.
I'm just totally excited and elated that we're going to finally get what I think is a great addition to the courthouse to accommodate the needs that we have. Just the expanded space in terms of usability, that from our standpoint, courtroom space, conference room space, the ability to transport prisoners from the jail to the courtroom. Those are just a couple of features I think that sort of stand out in my mind as things that were really, really important that go into this project. The folks from Mosley who have been great, they were fantastic. We had a needs assessment interview. Each shareholder or stakeholder in the process met with them, and we sort of went through what we did, what our personnel look like, what our responsibilities are, and then what do you think you need going forward? And we approached it from that standpoint. And they were able to take our concerns, our needs, and put those on paper, and this is the outcome. So it's been a win-win for all of us.
One of the first things you're going to see is a massive hole over here digging this tunnel. We've got to get that in place because it's underneath the building, and then we'll start going vertical. We'll get the tunnel built, put the building pad over top of that. Then you'll see a slab on grade in place, and then you'll start seeing structural steel. And you'll see this building go up first, standalone by itself, and then we'll start connecting.
2 years from now, you will come down Washington Street and notice that the new expansion, in fact, will look very similar to the original 1917 building, which is the main entrance now. That was completed in 1921, I believe. But we'll have the same, we'll have similar columns, we'll have similar copper-looking roof. You know, it'll be kind of the similar height. We're going to match the brick. I mean, really, it's going to be a pretty close match to what the existing courthouse looks like. So I think that's the vision that we've had here, is try to keep the historical character in place.
We're just thrilled to be a part of it. It won't overshadow the existing courthouse. It'll be a sister to it. It'll be a complement to it. That was our goal and objective. It'll be a new front door for the courthouse, but the historic front door will still remain, and it will serve the citizens for Nash County for many, many years to come.
After the groundbreaking, it didn't take long to get things going. Before we knew it, there was a massive hole in downtown Nashville.
We're here out at the courthouse construction site, looking at our new proposed future expansion of our courthouse. Back in, I think, August of 2016, we toured the remaining buildings that are down behind me. And since then, we led a contract with Daniels & Daniels. It's about a $11.65 million contract to construct 37,000 square feet of a new courthouse expansion project. November 14th is the date we issued our notice to proceed. So that was the date that the contractor could actually start work out at the site. Would estimate back in probably December, they actually started excavating. They dug out a big hole, basically. If you've been in Nashville the last few months, you've seen that, obviously. There's a huge dirt pile behind me as remnant of that. And what they did then was kind of take the big hole, got down to rock, was kind of what they were trying to get to. So we have a nice solid foundation. And then they formed up where the basement walls were going to go, poured concrete, came out of that, and then put some columns up in certain places that are required for the plans, and have poured those columns. You see the columns behind me, and have kind of been filling in the foundation walls ever since. So they've made a lot of progress. It may or may not seem so from the street. They're working on backfilling the walls that have been poured. They have their moisture barrier in place for the most part, but they're also putting in the insulation, and they're kind of doing that in a tiered step. So when you get to the top, you only want to do certain layers at a time. They'll do the insulation, then backfill and do some more and backfill again. But yeah, and this dirt pile you see is quickly diminishing as a result. And then they'll start working on some of the other foundation portions of the building. The building's going to come out to about where the front of the courthouse is now, so you still see there's quite a bit of room for them to progress towards Washington Street, but also kind of in this general direction as well. So made a lot of progress. They're pretty much on schedule. Major steel columns, they're going to start erecting the frame, the structure of the building, and then we'll really see things kind of taking off at that point. We'll be closing Body Street for quite a while, unfortunately, and again, because of the tightness of the site, the contractor really needs to come out into Body Street here between Washington and Elm, and really just give him some room to work. And probably it'll be closed maybe up to a year. Could be a little longer, could be shorter, depending on how the contractor and his subs get in here and get the work done.
Everything below ground was ready. The basement was backfilled and all the footings were poured. By May of 2017, it was time for the project to rise from the ground.
Today we're at a stage about 8 or 9 months into the project, and we are Still in the steel erection phase. They're putting some decking down, so the floors are really sort of going in. We've come a long way. We're about 90%, 95% done with the steel. And so we've had, most of the structural components have been installed. It's moved rather on schedule, even though sometimes it's been a little slow just because we've had some heavy rain that have held things up, and it's a rather tight site, so it's difficult to get steel moving with a crane around a site like this when you have such tight constraints. But it's going fairly smoothly. We've had very few issues that have come up, and we're moving quickly through the color selections for the interiors and the material selections for things like that. That kind of stuff goes on in the background. In the coming months, you'll wind up seeing a lot of things like masonry come up. You'll see a lot of brick work being done. You'll see a lot of concrete being poured for the floors and the decks inside. And they'll begin the work on the transport tunnel that goes underground. What'll wind up happening is between the new courthouse expansion and the existing detention facility, they'll dig about a 28-foot deep pit that is a tunnel to transport people back and forth, and it's got an elevator shaft on each end that allows for secure transport between the detention facility and the courthouse. For citizens that need to visit the detention facility or the magistrate's office, we're going to reroute traffic due to the construction and the need for certain improvements that are going to happen. We're going to have to reroute traffic. We'll post signs that will help direct traffic and everything, but we would just advise everybody to make sure that you're paying attention to, hey, you may go around, or it may be a little bit different than some may be used to from where they've been in the past. The connector hallway is literally just the connection between the two buildings. It's got its own elevator shaft and the new end that you can see that will transport you up and down the levels, but it's got it's just the connector between the two buildings. This new route for the detention facility to make way for the construction is literally going to pass through the doors that are in there that'll eventually be the doors from the entrance to the street.
The project was starting to take shape as construction crews took 2 levels of steel and turned them into a very active building.
The last time we were here, they had just poured the decking for the second floor, and we come to you today from that spot. We're on the second floor on the concrete decking, and as you can see, there's been a lot of progress since the last time we were visiting the courthouse site. So it's moved really quickly and things are really flowing well. Lots of steel and lots of studs and walls are up, a lot of sheetrock going on the first floor, and the sheetrock's been delivered on this floor in order to be able to finish out some of these rooms. A lot of rough end for the plumbing and electrical has been completed. You can see different pipes and HVAC infrastructure hanging around. Lots of conduits run for all of the various systems that are going to be in the building. Just a lot of construction trades moving through here and working at one time. Probably about 60 people a day on the inside and the outside of the building. We've got some easier access to the different floors now because the stairwells have been installed. Some of the handrails still waiting to go up, but we've got some better access instead of using ladders to crawl from floor to floor. Looking forward to being able to get on the roof and see what the roof looks like soon. They're putting the membrane on that is the actual roofing material, that is the waterproof side of the roof, like a rubber mat that goes over everything. The exterior wall section is a little different than what the interior metal stud walls will be. The insulation and the wall board that goes on the outside is a insulating hardboard that goes just on the outside of the studs, and then they spray a foam on that board to make a very weather-tight, airtight seal that is really going to be the insulating factor for the building. They did the bottom level of brick on the very lower part, and it came up rather slowly, but they had to run that all the way around where they could in order to be able to wait to seal the doors and the windows in. And then they started and got up to the bottom of the windows and began installing the windows. brick is all the way to the ceiling or to the top of the courthouse in some sections. It's all the way around, and we hope in the next couple of weeks to have all the brick completed. The tunnel that runs between the existing detention facility and the new courthouse expansion is in the process of being poured right now. They've excavated, and it's been a slow process just due to some poor soil conditions they ran into, but it's coming together nicely now, and in the next couple of weeks we hope to have the concrete poured and have that thing sort of buttoned up to where we can backfill the hole, and then the whole site has mobility at that point. You can get all the way around the building, or as much as you were ever going to be able to again. So we look forward to having the transition period, and then of course the renovation in the old courthouse begins after that. And that's about a 6-month process, and we hope to have it done next year this time around December.
2018 had finally come, but the project was still months away from completion. It was time to take the inside of the building from brick and concrete to finished walls and floors.
The last time we visited the courthouse, the outside brick was being finished and we were about to start working on the inside finishing. All the sheetrock's been finished. Obviously they put floors in, tile, carpet, all the finishes in the courtrooms. Furniture's been placed everywhere. The lighting, cameras, everything's been installed since that point. There is soundproofing that's been put on all the walls to help reduce noise from the hallway and some of the offices that are around the courthouse. Each courtroom is about the same. There's some minor differences to each one, but all the judges' benches, the areas where the clerk sits, and the witness stand was all handcrafted, handmade inside, put together on site. The inmate holding area is completely finished. There's still some work being done on elevator 3 and 4, and that's just a matter of being able to control the elevators from the security access point in the front of the building. The tunnel is completely finished. It's about 12 to 15 foot underground depending on where you are, and it gives full access, from the jail underground to courtrooms without the inmates having to come out into public access anywhere. On the outside, all the landscaping's been finished, to include the grass sodded areas, bush plantings, mulching, and all the trees as well. So currently the building is probably 99% done. The architect and the general contractor, as well as many subcontractors, have met and created a punch list. And at this time, basically, it's just finishing touches, some paint touch-ups, maybe moving some cameras around. It's just a punch list that everyone's working on to finish up for the grand opening. So here we are in the new entryway to the courthouse. This is kind of the secured area. If you look over here, there's a couple of new metal detectors, 2 of them there to kind of help speed the process up of entry. There's also an x-ray machine if you have a bag or a purse that you can allow to go through as you're walking through the metal detectors. Security area here where some of the security for the courthouse will sit, as well as the security room, the control area for all the cameras, elevators, doors are located back here. Once you pass through security, you're kind of in the main hallway area on the first floor. If you go this way, this will actually take you to the old courthouse. It'll be the corridor that passes through to the old courthouse. Turn the other way, and this will be hall access that goes to the 2 district courts on the first floor. There's certain meeting rooms up and down this hallway. Also towards the end, there's going to be District Courtroom 1 and District Courtroom 2. You can see we got a couple guys in here working on the windows, kind of finishing out the punch list. So right now we're on the 2nd floor. It's a very similar hallway to the first floor, kind of wraps around the building. Here we are in Superior Court 2. Towards the back is seating for the audience. As we move to the middle of the room is the juror area. There's actually 13 seats to give room for 1 alternate. As we move towards the front, you can see the podium where the different attorneys will present over their cases. We've got desks on either side for both the prosecution and for the defense. Room for clerk and court reporter. And as you look towards the front, towards the judges' benches, you can see these were custom made for the courtroom, built on site, with an area for the judge in the middle. We have the witness on one side and the clerk of court on the other.
Two years after we started construction, the courthouse is finally finished. But before we can hold court, we celebrate all the hard work that has gone into this building with a ribbon-cutting celebration.
It is my sincere hope that this beautiful addition will continue the rich traditions of our existing courthouse. I also hope that the addition of this building will serve as a welcome to the general public, as well as make transparent the work that we do here each and every day. And furthermore, I also hope that it will enhance the beauty of downtown Nashville. At this time, and on behalf of all the judges, the attorneys, clerks, courthouse support staff, law enforcement officers, and the general public that will use this beautiful building, I again extend my warmest and sincerest thanks and appreciation to our county commissioners for their vision and their great support of the Nash County court system.
It will stand the test of time for a very long time. To add a building in a downtown of any town, like downtown on the main street, which is Washington Street in Nashville, and to have to blend it with an existing courthouse and then have to convert the entrance for all the courthouses back over here, keeping in mind security as one of the #1 things we were after. It has run extremely smooth. We had a great architect firm, Mosley, and we had a great contractor, Daniels & Daniels out of Goldsboro. We had great staff working on this project.
Oh, listen, I am truly elated. This is one of the high points of my career, which spans over 30 years. I'm thankful for Chairman Davis and other members of the commission. The taxpayers of the county, obviously, for being able to put us in a position to do this, the county commissioners to allocate and designate the funds for this. As I set out in my brief remarks, none of this would be possible without them. And I'm just truly overwhelmed by their support.